Kamala Harris has been put in charge of artificial intelligence. New York Governor Kathy Hochul moves to ban gas stoves, plus the efforts to discredit Tucker Carlson continue. All that and more. I'm Bobby Eberle. This is a 13-minute news hour.
And God bless the United States of America.
Okay, friends, welcome to the show. Happy Friday. I hope you had a great week. If you're new to the show, thank you so much for tuning in. We're going to start with Kamala Harris. And if you hadn't just completely given up yet on Joe Biden and his administration, well, that time is now. And why? I'll get to that in just a bit, but we first need to address the fact that the field of artificial intelligence is exploding. We see exponential growth in computer processing power and the ability of AI to do things that just a few years ago were impossible. ChatGPT and similar programs can write songs, compose poetry, create photographs and people who don't really exist. And that's just the beginning. As reported in Science Alert, an experiment was conducted with AI on the task of imagining designs for hypothetical bioweapons. In just the span of 6 hours, the AI technology identified 40,000 bioweapon chemicals. 40,000. Another problem with AI is that it is a program and thus has all the inherent qualities and biases of the programmer. And as we've seen in example after example, that bias is dramatically and undeniably to the left. Here's a case using ChatGPT from Newsmax.
Just this morning in the green room, I typed in, "Tell me why Joe Biden is one of the worst presidents in U.S. history." And it came back with, "As an AI language model, I don't have opinions or personal biases, but I can provide information and data. There's no objective standard for determining the worst, quote unquote, presidents in U.S. history."
That's the response when asking about Joe Biden. But when ChatGPT was asked about Donald Trump, the program went through a laundry list of why Trump was the worst. Clear left-wing bias from a computer program. And this brings us to our lead story. With AI on the verge of becoming uncontrollable, the Biden White House is stepping in with an effort to control it. And who is Joe Biden putting in charge of this effort? Who is the new AI czar? It's Kamala Harris. Yes, this is not a joke. Harris is in charge. The person who just recently said this.
And you know, when I speak with small business owners and entrepreneurs, some of our younger small business owners actually self-identify as entrepreneurs. They're small business owners also. But we'll go with whatever you like. Small business owner or entrepreneurs.
What? This is the person in charge of artificial intelligence. Shouldn't we have someone with actual intelligence put in charge of artificial intelligence? Instead, we have someone who tries to pump electricity.
There we are.
That's it.
And there's no sound or fume.
There is nothing.
Yes.
Yeah, and that's
So
all there
for
is
all of
to
us who
it.
are used to,
Every morning we-
filling our tank, you usually can smell it and you can hear it. You can hear the guzzling sound.
Right.
None of that.
None of
so
that.
how do I know it's actually working?
It is.
What can you even say? She's trying to pump the electricity. But on Thursday, Harris met with the CEOs of leading AI development companies to lead the effort in controlling artificial intelligence. According to a White House statement on the meeting, President Biden has been clear that when it comes to AI, we must place people and communities at the center by supporting responsible innovation that serves the public good while protecting our society, security, and economy. That was one of the quotes. I don't know what's scarier, that statement about the public good and protecting society from the perspective of those on the left, or the fact that Kamala Harris is running the show. What do you think? Let me know in the comments. All right, next let's talk about the effort to ban gas stoves. But first, if you're new to the show or haven't subscribed yet, regardless of platform, just search out my name, hit that subscribe button, make sure notifications are turned on. That way you can follow the show and help us grow. Okay, next let's talk about the quest by the left to ban gas stoves. And if there was any effort that reveals the true intentions of the Democrats and other leftists, it's this one. People have been using gas appliances for well over 100 years. And guess what? Everyone was fine. Now the left is trotting out research that says it's unhealthy for you and it causes pollution. So, gas stoves need to be banned. And New York State is leading the way.
So research suggests that gas stoves cause indoor air pollution and could lead to childhood asthma, heart issues, and cancer. If passed, new buildings and homes would have to make the switch to electrical appliances by 2026. Now, some U.S. cities have already passed city codes banning natural gas hookups in new buildings, but this is significant as it applies to the entire state of New York as part of a $229 billion state budget.
This is just crazy. First of all, that idea that the freest country in the world is mandating what a person can or can't do based on so-called health reasons is ridiculous. Whenever you hear government officials try to limit your freedom by saying, oh, this is what's best for you, then watch out. A free people can decide to be healthy or unhealthy. It's not the role of government to tell you that you can't have fast food or have a huge Diet Coke or cook on a gas stove. Government is not our parents. And when it tries to act like it, it always means that you are about to lose more freedom. All right. And then, as far as the pollution goes, we are talking about natural gas. It's one of the cleanest forms of fuel that we have. But the left banks on the fact that they can fool everyone by talking about emissions, and that makes everything green. This car has 0 emissions. It must be great. This stove is electric. No emissions. It must be awesome. Wrong. Everything gets power from somewhere. These cars and appliances plug into an electrical grid, which is powered by coal and natural gas. But the left doesn't want you to think about that part. They just want you to think that we are making the transition to so-called green energy.
But we, just like we had to go from long time ago, can transition from coal as your energy source. We do have to transition. There are clean energy alternatives. It's going to take time. And I want to make sure that New Yorkers don't get hit hard for the cost, so we're going to roll this out. But new buildings that are going up, they can go electric, they can do heat pumps. This is how you transition.
This whole effort has nothing to do with going green. Solar and wind cannot meet the energy demands that are required. Mining the materials needed for these technologies is terrible for the environment, puts us in reliance of hostile nations, and is often collected using child slave labor. And all of that is okay with the left, because these policies will lead to high construction costs, higher energy costs, and a less reliant grid, all of which makes people more dependent on the government to take care of them, and that's what this is all about. All right, next let's talk about the ongoing effort of Fox News to destroy Tucker Carlson. It's the most bizarre story out there, and it shows you what happens when the company is turned over to left-wing activists like the next generation of Murdochs who hate Republicans and especially hate Tucker Carlson. The upper leadership at Fox wanted Tucker gone, and he's gone. But what they forgot about, kind of like Anheuser-Busch and Bud Light, is that they run a business that provides a service to a customer base. And in this case, that customer base loves Tucker Carlson. But the company thought it could get rid of Tucker without taking a hit. Maybe the Fox executives were having lunches with the CNN brass, and CNN said, hey, we're getting rid of Don Lemon. Why don't you fire Tucker on the same day? Nothing bad will happen. Well, just look at this comparison.
The staggering difference in impact between these two dismissals is astounding. At 8 p.m. on Fox, the ratings halved. And in the advertising coveted 25 to 54 demographic, it's far worse, a 75% decline without Tucker Carlson at 8 p.m. in the demo. Fox is in full panic mode, and that's why they're maliciously leaking, which is hurting them even more.
The drop is staggering, and it shows no signs of stopping, especially with Fox upping the stakes and not only firing Carlson, but now trying to destroy him. But just as an aside, here is the impact the Don Lemon firing had on CNN.
Over at CNN, the loss of Don Lemon, who was reportedly making $7 million a year, has had literally no impact whatsoever. If you take a look at CNN this morning during the 7 a.m. hour, April 17th, Don Lemon's still on the air. The show was pulling 381,000 viewers. On April 24th, which would be Don's last day, the show pulled 394. And this past Monday, the Lemonless CNN show at 7 a.m. pulled 384,000 viewers. Literally, nothing has changed at CNN without Don Lemon.
Maybe Fox executives thought the same thing would happen. In any event, Fox News ratings are way down, and now, through a series of leaks to left-wing outlets like the New York Times and Media Matters, Fox is trying to discredit Tucker. But that effort, too, is backfiring. Here's the latest.
Can I ask you a question? You don't have to answer. It's personal. I'm not speaking of you, but more in general of ladies. When they go to the ladies' room and powder their noses, is there actually nose powdering going on?
Sometimes.
Ooh. I like the sound of that.
Most of the time it's lipstick.
Do pillow fights ever break out? You don't have to.
Not in the bathroom.
Okay, not in the bathroom. Okay. That'd be more a dorm activity. Okay.
Wow, that is just so terrible, so damaging. At least that's what people at Fox are hoping. But of course, these clips are doing no damage except to Fox News. The fact is that they messed up, and now they are scrambling to figure out what to do next. But again, just like with Bud Light, they seem to be making things worse with each new effort to try to make things better. Okay, so we've had Kamala Harris leading the AI effort, Kathy Hochul wanting to ban gas stoves, and Fox News execs scrambling to fix the falling ratings. We need to ask them, do you have a relaxed brain?
I got what you call a relaxed brain.
First, let's talk about the ongoing effort to erase women, and the journalist Christopher Rufo found a great example from the University of Texas. Rufo points out in a recent tweet that the radical diversity, equity, and inclusion bureaucracy equates objectivity with white supremacy and recommends using the word women, W-I-M-M-I-N, as a replacement for the regular spelling of women, so you don't have to have the men in there. That's right. In a glossary of terms published by the university, women is defined as a non-standard spelling of the word women used by feminists to avoid the word ending in -men. This is just beyond dumb. And here's what's just priceless. The word is created for so-called feminists who don't want to be associated with a particular word just because it has men in that word. But they have no problem at all with actual men beating women in women's sports. That's perfectly fine. And then, as reported in the Washington Examiner, we have left-wing Hollywood elites who are funding a climate change advocacy organization, which through various grants is supplying money to anti-fossil fuel groups that vandalize precious works of art. You've seen this. Damaging statues, throwing paint on classic paintings. So what you have are Hollywood artists funding left-wing radical efforts to destroy art. Yep, you're really going to stick it to those fossil fuel lovers. And then we have these breaking headlines from the Babylon Bee, starting with the new spin coming from the Biden team. White House announces illegal immigration has decreased 90% since they redefined it. And then this is how you know how bad things are for Bud Light. Bros drinking Cosmos laugh at friend ordering Bud Light. That's just great. And it just makes you wonder if these woke companies will ever learn. Friends, that's our show for today. I hope you enjoyed it. And remember, today's show's one sheet is available to Patreon supporters using the link in the description. The one sheet gives you the links to all the videos and stories used on today's show, so you can dive even deeper into each issue. And with that, our next show will be Monday evening at the usual time. Until then, I'm Bobby Eberle. This is a 13-minute news hour. All right, friends, thanks again for tuning in. I really appreciate it. And before you go, please hit that subscribe button above. Once you do, tell your friends, share it, spread the word about the 13-minute news hour so we can keep growing. And for more great content, check out these videos right here, and I'll see you next time.